I think I didn't want to look through the lens with which they were taken. I feel like those bodies and those people have an agency which is inherent in them, and we've always had that agency. And I think I sort of looked through that. I looked through that setup, this idea that they're the object, and I think my contribution really came from a place of thinking about our own agency and how we, as artists, as intellectuals, we're creating and defining something that has already existed, and that can't be seen through that lens, but has already existed. And the artifacts that I brought along were actually from a show that I worked with Sajan, with yourself, at Sydney University, and it was this kind of idea of creating a Dalit museum and archive, and it wasn't to fill in the blanks of our history, because our history is so sacred and so defined. It was more to imagine fictional objects from our really rich Dalit literature. And so the works, my contribution, the fictional artifacts that I've created are inspired by When I Hid My Caste, which is a collection of short stories by a very prominent Marathi author, Baburao Bagul. And in a way, his writing is so rich and vivid that I could just imagine these objects falling off the pages of his book. And I think that's what, in this seminar, in this discussion, we've talked a lot about what we build from our history, how we think of it in a positive light, in how we celebrate, how we find joy. And I think that's the joy for me, is reading the enormity of those that have come before us and those that have given us so much incredible art and literature. And so that was my contribution. It was creating these kind of, these fictional objects and presenting them on this beautiful, rich blue, which is our color, which is a color of our sovereignty and our agency. And then presenting these kind of weathered zinc plates, because I think also when I think of Dalit resistance and our movement, it's ancient, but it's so new. We define it and we're creating it, and we're active in authoring it. But I know it's so ancient, and it's so grounded in earth, in the soil, and I think that the earth and the soil are also in these objects as well. So I think that was my contribution, and I really just enjoyed. I think academia and art go hand in hand in understanding, interrogating, in celebrating our history, and I think that this whole project was so well constructed to do all of that, to understand, to learn, to collaborate, and most importantly, to have hope for what we do next. And I can see so many projects come out of that. So I guess initially this archive of ethnographic photos, they're so enormous, and the weight and the trauma of them, it's not possible to understand and to comprehend that so easily in one exhibition, one seminar. So this is the starting point for many projects to come. And it's great to see that we work together for that. Incredible people in this project.